There is a power within you greater than any circumstance. It is not physical strength. It is not willpower. It is faith. Faith is the inner knowing that what you have imagined, what you have desired is already yours. It is not the hope that something might come to pass. It is the confidence that it already has. The world will tell you to work harder, chase more, strive endlessly. But the truth is, you are not here to chase. You are here to receive. And the key that unlocks that reception is faith. Imagine the life you wish to live. Feel it, not as something far away, but as something already done. That feeling, that inner conviction is your act of faith. That is your miracle seed. Do not concern yourself with the how. Miracles do not operate under logic. They bend to belief. When you persist in the assumption that what you desire is already yours, the world must conform. The seen rearranges to match the unseen. You don't wait for a sign. You are the sign. Walk as though it's already done. Speak as though it's already done. Think, feel, breathe as though you are already living in the answered prayer. Because you are. There is no power in begging the world to give you what you have not first accepted inwardly. But when you say yes with your soul, yes with your spirit, the universe bows in agreement. Creation responds to conviction. Miracles are not rare, they are natural. They are the laws of the higher realm operating through faith. The only question is, are you willing to believe before you see? If your answer is yes, then I tell you now, it is done. Believe and you shall receive. What you do not yet see in your world already exists within you. The longing you feel, the image you quietly hold in your imagination, the quiet hope that sometimes whispers louder than reason, all of it is not fantasy, but the echo of what is already prepared for you. Faith is not the creation of something new. It is the recognition of what already is. There is a world unseen, a world within, more real than what you touch with your hands or measure with your eyes. All things spring first from this invisible realm. Before the house, the idea of the house. Before the healed body, the vision of health. Before the relationship, the feeling of love. Before anything can take form outside, it must be accepted as real inside. Faith is the bridge between that inner acceptance and the outer manifestation. You are never meant to live only by what you see. To do so is to become bound by limitation. The visible world is merely the harvest of past beliefs, past assumptions, past states of being. Faith calls you to something deeper. It invites you to move beyond the senses and step boldly into the unseen. Not to wish, not to beg, not to plead, but to know. And in that knowing, to receive. You do not need permission from the world to believe in what has not yet appeared. The world will often tell you it is foolish. It will point to circumstances, limitations, facts, and evidence. But what the world cannot see is what you carry within. And that inner reality is more powerful than any condition, any obstacle, any delay. What you hold with faith will override what you see with fear. Faith is not blind. It is not naive. It is deeply aware, so aware of the truth within that it no longer bows to the illusion outside. When you walk by faith, you walk in alignment with a law higher than logic, a law that says all things are possible to the one who believes. You don't chase after your desires. You become the one who already has them. You shift inwardly, you take on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and you persist. What is real to you inwardly must eventually become real to you outwardly. This is the law. The outer mirrors the inner. The world is your reflection. And faith is how you speak to the mirror, not with words, but with conviction. You are not separate from what you seek. You are one with it. And faith is the bridge that reminds you. It carries you over the waters of doubt, the winds of delay, and the fog of confusion. It keeps you steady when nothing else seems to move. Faith sees the end from the beginning. And because it sees the end, it knows how to rest, not because it is passive, but because it is sure. So, hold fast. The invisible is not empty. It is pregnant with all that your heart desires. Believe in it, dwell in it, walk toward it, because what you do not yet see in your world is already alive in you, and faith will bring it forth. Imagination is the beginning of all things. Before anything is made visible in this world, it is first seen in the mind, felt in the heart, and accepted in the spirit. To imagine is to touch the invisible and bring it into focus. It is the first movement of faith, the sacred act of creation that takes place within. When you dare to imagine something different from your current reality and accept it as real, you have already begun the process of transformation. Imagination is not idle fantasy. It is not daydreaming without power. True imagination, fueled by belief and feeling, is the most creative force in existence. It is through imagination that you choose the state you wish to dwell in. It is how you rise above what the senses report and step into a world that has not yet formed, but surely will. To see with the inner eyes, to live beyond appearances. It is to close your physical eyes and open the eye of the spirit, the eye that sees not what is, but what can be. Every great change in a person's life begins here, not in effort, not in struggle, but in vision. The clearer the vision, the stronger the faith, and the stronger the faith, the faster the world conforms. You are always imagining, whether you are aware of it or not. The question is, are you imagining what you desire or what you fear? Most people unconsciously imagine worst-case scenarios. They rehearse defeat in their minds, worry about outcomes, and then wonder why life reflects that back to them. But the moment you take control of this inner faculty and use it deliberately, you become the author of your life. You begin to create consciously. Feeling is what gives imagination its power. To simply see something in the mind is not enough. You must feel it as though it were happening now. When the imagined scene stirs emotion within you, when it causes you to smile, to relax, to feel gratitude or joy, that is when faith is activated. That is when the seed is planted. And once a seed is planted in the rich soil of belief, it must grow. Imagination is your divine tool. Through it, you design the life you desire. You are not limited by your past, your surroundings, or your present circumstances. What appears to be fixed is only temporary. It will yield to your inner reality. When you return again and again to the vision of your fulfilled desire and feel it to be real, you are exercising faith in its purest form. You must make your imagination more real to you than your current conditions. You must walk in the feeling of the answered prayer, live in the end result, and persist there, regardless of appearances. It is not pretending, it is believing. It is not escape, it is creation. Everything you desire is already finished in the unseen. Imagination is the doorway through which you claim it. When you see clearly within and feel it deeply, the world cannot help but reflect it. This is the law. This is the truth. Imagination is the first act of faith, and with it you move mountains without lifting a finger. Miracles do not respond to effort. They do not come because of strain, struggle, or desperation. They arrive quietly, powerfully, through a deeper channel, through feeling. Feeling is the secret doorway through which the invisible becomes visible. It is the key to unlocking the life you long for, not by chasing it, but by receiving it inwardly first. Everything in your world reflects the state you dwell in. And the state is not just a thought. It is a feeling. It is the emotional atmosphere that surrounds your inner being. When you feel lack, life responds with more reasons to feel empty. But when you feel fulfilled, when you feel loved, healed, whole, then the world mirrors that back to you. Not instantly, perhaps, but inevitably. This is why the act of creation begins with inner acceptance. You must first accept the thing you want as already yours. Not in a future that's always just beyond reach, but now. You must rise above the facts of the senses and step into the truth of your inner conviction. Can you feel yourself already living the life you desire? Can you taste the joy, the peace, the success of it? If you can, then you are closer to the miracle than you know. Most people make the mistake of thinking they must do something to make their desire happen, but miracles are not forced. They are not willed into existence through panic or performance. They are received. They flow naturally when you align your inner world with the reality you seek. Feeling is how you do that. To feel the reality of your desire is not to pretend, it is not to fake it. It is to consciously shift into the state of already having, already being. The moment you stop asking, when will it come, and start living as if it already has, you walk through the doorway. This is the mystery the world has missed. You don't beg for blessings. You become the version of you that already has them. Everything in your life flows from the state you dwell in. If you want to see a new reality, you must first feel differently. You must enter into the scene of your wish fulfilled and dwell there in thought and in emotion. Don't just visualize it, feel it. Let the scene become so vivid, so real within you that your heart responds. When you feel the joy of already having, when you feel the love of already receiving, that is when the miracle begins to move. This is not something you do once and forget. It is a way of living. You return to the feeling again and again until it becomes your dwelling place, until it becomes more natural to feel abundance than lack, more natural to feel peace than anxiety. Then your outer world, which is only a reflection, must catch up. Feeling is the secret doorway because it bypasses resistance. It bypasses logic. It goes straight to the heart of creation. The universe speaks in feeling. So if you truly want to change your life, don't force it. Feel it. Receive the miracle by becoming the one who already holds it. Let it be real within, and it must be revealed without. Doubt is the silent thief of every dream. It creeps in softly, questioning, second-guessing, interrupting the flow of faith with whispers of fear and hesitation. And the moment you give it your attention, you pull yourself back into limitation. You return to the world of what is and abandon the power of what will be. This is the reason so many prayers go unanswered, not because the desire was too great, but because the faith was too small. Doubt delays, but faith always delivers. To have faith is not to pretend everything is perfect. It is to know deep within that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Faith is not blind. It is the clearest sight you will ever have. It sees what the eyes cannot see. It holds fast when the senses scream the opposite. It is the calm within the storm, the stillness in the waiting. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. It is surrender, but with certainty. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each morning to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it, nurture it, and wait with expectation. This is how faith works. You plant the seed of desire in your imagination, feel it as already done, and then rest in the assurance that it is being fulfilled. Doubt comes when you stop trusting and start questioning the unseen process. It is like tugging on the seedling, wondering why it has not yet broken the surface. Your job is not to figure out how the desire will come. Your job is to remain in the state of fulfillment, knowing that what is yours cannot miss you. You are not required to chase or force. You are only required to remain. Remain in the feeling of it already being done. Remain in the joy, the peace, the gratitude that it brings. Remain in the end. That is faith. Every time you doubt, you step out of the state of fulfillment and back into the state of longing. You become the person who does not have and therefore cannot receive. But when you hold firm to your inner conviction, despite appearances, despite delay, you become the one who already has, and the world must conform to that. Faith is alignment. It is harmony with the highest version of yourself. It does not push, it attracts. It does not beg, it commands. Quietly, peacefully, unshakably. And in that still confidence, miracles are made manifest. The moment you feel the urge to worry, to rush, to question, pause. Return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. See it in your mind's eye. Feel it in your heart. Say to yourself, it is done. Because in the unseen, it already is. And what is real within must become real without. Faith delivers because it creates the atmosphere for the unseen to become seen. It lifts you above the noise of fear and places you in the flow of divine timing. Doubt delays because it denies the power within. Faith, on the other hand, is your agreement with the highest truth, that all things are possible to the one who believes. So believe, remain, and receive. To assume the wish fulfilled is to enter into a sacred agreement with the unseen. It is to step into the end before any sign of it appears. This is not imagination as fantasy, it is imagination as reality. When you assume the feeling of your desire already fulfilled, you become one with it. You no longer ask if it will come or when it will arrive. You dwell in the knowing that it is now within you, as sure and certain as the ground beneath your feet. This is the law of creation. Whatever state you occupy within must be expressed without. The outer world is simply a reflection of the inner world. It is not separate from you, it is responding to you. When you change your state, your world begins to rearrange itself to match that new vibration. But most people wait for the world to change before they change within. They wait for evidence to believe, yet the evidence only comes after belief. You must live in the state of the answered prayer, not visit it occasionally, not speak of it with doubt, but dwell there emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. To dwell means to remain, to reside, to make it your home. It becomes your dominant state, your natural assumption. You do not check for signs every hour. You do not measure its progress. You live as though it were already true. You think from it, feel from it, speak from it, and act from it. And because of this, it must come to pass. This is not pretending, it is aligning. You are not faking a future. You are claiming a truth that already exists in the unseen. You are saying yes to it, allowing it, embracing it as your own. In doing so, you bypass the resistance of how and when and enter the effortless flow of now. Motion is the secret ingredient. When you feel the joy of already having what you once desired, you send a powerful signal into the field of creation. You become a magnet for the experience. And the more real that feeling becomes to you, the faster the world begins to respond. Thoughts alone do not change reality. It is the feeling behind the thoughts that impresses the subconscious and shapes your life. That is why it is not enough to merely affirm your desire. You must feel it as done. You must rise into the atmosphere of fulfillment and stay there. And when your mind wanders back to doubt or lack, you gently return again and again until the feeling of the wish fulfilled becomes more familiar than the memory of not having it. You are not bound by circumstances. You are not defined by what has been. You are the creator of your state and therefore the creator of your experience. All things are possible to the one who dares to assume, who refuses to waver, and who remains loyal to the unseen reality within. Assume the wish fulfilled, and it must be so. Not because the world grants it to you, but because you are it. You are the fulfillment walking in form, and as you live from that truth, the world will echo it back to you in ways that appear miraculous, but are in fact inevitable. Faith is not a weak hope, nor a desperate plea whispered into the night. Faith is power. It is law. It is the invisible force that shapes visible form. When you believe, not just with your words, but with your being, with your entire consciousness, the universe has no choice but to respond. It does not resist. It does not delay. It rearranges itself to honor that belief, for faith is the signal that creation listens to. You do not receive what you want, you receive what you are. And faith is the state of being that declares, I already have it, it is mine. Not as a performance, not as a wish, but as an inner truth so alive and so complete that it cannot be denied. This is why faith is the law that answers all requests. It is not something external you must chase or summon. It is the alignment of your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. The moment you believe something fully, you collapse time. The waiting ends inwardly, and because you no longer wait, you create. The future becomes the present in consciousness. You no longer beg for change, you embody it. And this embodiment, this deep felt knowing, is what causes mountains to move, conditions to bend, and paths to open. The universe does not respond to scattered thoughts or half-hearted declarations. It responds to the certainty of being. To believe means to inhabit the truth of your desire even when nothing in the physical world confirms it, especially then, for that is when your faith speaks the loudest. To continue to believe in the face of contradiction is to rise above the laws of matter and step into the higher law of spirit, where all things are possible. Faith is not the absence of action, but inspired alignment. It guides you into doing not from fear or urgency, but from inner knowing. You no longer act to make things happen, you act because they already have. The steps you take are no longer forced, they are natural movements, flowing from your assumed reality. You see, the world is a mirror. It does not create, it reflects. So when you believe deeply, wholly, and consistently, the mirror must show you what you carry within. This is why so many remain stuck. Not because their desires are wrong, but because their faith is unstable. One moment they believe, the next they doubt. They plant a seed and dig it up. They shift from having to lacking, from confidence to fear. And so the reflection stays blurred, uncertain, incomplete. But when you stabilize in faith, when you no longer waver, when you remain loyal to the unseen reality, something profound begins to occur. People, events, and circumstances move. Doors open, opportunities arise. What once seemed impossible becomes ordinary, not through effort, but through alignment. Faith is the law that answers all requests because it places you in the frequency of fulfillment. It says, I am one with my desire, and the world, being obedient, mirrors back that union. You need not scream your wishes to the sky. You only need to believe with your being, feel with your soul, and live as if it were already so. When you do, nothing is withheld. All things bend to the one who walks in faith. In the end, remember this profound truth. Your faith is the creative power within you. It is the force that bridges the invisible with the seen, the imagined with the real. When you believe fully, body, mind, and spirit, you unlock the flow of miracles into your life. Doubt may delay, but faith delivers. Assume the wish fulfilled, dwell in that state, and watch as the universe rearranges itself in your favor. This is not magic. It is the natural law of creation working through you. So stand firm, trust deeply, and receive without hesitation. For all that you desire is already yours. Thank you for opening your heart and mind to this truth. May your faith be unwavering, and may your life be filled with miracles beyond measure.